All right, we're going to go to our final question of the week. And now we've had a whole bunch of takes on product, right? We've been talking all around it. And we're going to start to my left as I'm looking at the screen. So Jason is going to be first up, and so he can't say ditto.
Yeah, I can.
Jason, what is your best take on the definition of product?
What do you mean?
Quippy is, what's your biggest, here's my thought on what is a product. It's the outcome. It's the value. It's, all right. You want to take some time to think about this? You're not ready to make your order? We can all order and you'll look at the menu.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right.
I'll just do somebody else's.
Let me do my best take. I'll start with it and then we'll go to my left. My best take is the whole company is the product. Every experience somebody has, from the first call they get, every interaction they get with email, on the phone, on the web, every single part of the customer and user experience through the whole buyer's journey, through the buying process, in post, right? Everybody who it touches is part of the product. If you go to a Four Seasons or a Ritz-Carlton hotel, what are the people that, I don't want to call them maids, the housekeeping staff, what do they do when you walk by?
Say hello.
They blend into the wall. Right?
Clearly, some of us are not staying at the nicer hotels in this story.
They'll say hello, they'll be polite, but their whole thing is about staying out of your way, right? Yes. The experience you get at a Ritz-Carlton from the person taking you from the desk and walking to your room and showing you the room and everything you get, it's the whole experience. The product is not just that really nice bed. It's every experience you get with them. There was research done, and this is I've tried to find it for so long. I remember reading it when I was in business school, 1995, and it found that people who went to a 5-star hotel were more likely to rank it 5 stars if they had a problem that was solved over the top than if they had no problems whatsoever. So part of the product is the fact that when something goes wrong, they overcure, right? And so
systematic
for a company, it is. That's part of their product. So a product to me is they're not judging your product on just the experience when they're using it. They're judging it on how obnoxious your email list is and how often you touch them and what experience they get when they're interacting with support or with a salesperson or scheduling something. It's everything. It takes that whole product concept to a bigger level. That's my take.
So your best take on the definition of product is the overall experience with the organization.
It's the whole product is everything. Every touch point with every experience that customer has, everything that has part of it is the product.
I agree with that.
Are you dittoing me?
I'm dittoing you. I'll give you that.
Listen, if Rob's first to ditto you, I can't be at fault for dittoing Rob.
All right. Jason's going to pass. Ditto. You don't have a take?
Me? Jason or me?
I was going to go Jason just because going my left, but you guys don't know who my left is, so.
I'll let Jason go.
No, I mean, I don't disagree. And I mean, that's your best take and you have your opinions. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, there's a lot of aspects. It's hard. It's a hard one to talk about, but as you were talking about that overall experience, I mean, that's how we run my organization. Everything from the first interaction to the ongoing and last interaction to the point where we're like saying goodbye to a customer for whatever various reasons. We consider that as a product, and we evaluate and analyze every single one of those situations, and every person who works in our organization, is part of that, and we look at everybody as being a part of that product. And so that is a very interesting concept to kind of come back to. Most of us in product management, as soon as we hear product on kind of the more tactical level of product management, we're instantly thinking about the deliverables. and we're not thinking about that overall experience from every single aspect that the customer has. But it's a great thing that we should promote throughout the organization.
You actually said it so much better than I did, Jason.
That's not true.
That was the smartest ditto ever.
I agree. All right, Tom, you're next.
Yay. Well, I mean, it's quite easy to ditto all of you on this one. This one, I mean, the way you worded it, hit it on the head. It is the entire process. It's everything that's involved in that. At Fiserv, when I was there, the typical thought that management had was, well, you built the product, you gave it to the client, dump it, and we're gonna not worry about it. But that ongoing relationship is part of that product. You need to keep that client. You need to keep them happy.
Is customer success
experience.
Is customer success the natural extension of the product then?
It should be. It should be. And not everybody thinks of it that way. They just want to move on from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. That entire process, everything involved in that is the product.
Awesome. Steve.
Well, I'm inclined to say ditto, 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 ditto. And so and I'll do one other. I bought a lot of stuff from Amazon over the last 2 weeks, and that's certainly part of the experience. But I was sitting out front, and the Amazon truck pulls up, and the driver got my package and literally ran up to me. And I'm like, hey, you don't need to run. It's a wire. It's not like I'm sitting by the street waiting for you to bring a new computer. It's just, and she's like, they like us to run. And I went, they. It just really bothered me that she did not think of herself as part of Amazon.
Yes, that's key.
Amazon is asking me, not Amazon, to do this thing.
So part of it is making sure everybody realizes they're part of the product.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, Steve.
She was part of the experience, but she didn't consider herself part of the product, I guess.
Awesome. Rob.
Which, by the way, I want to say, and was a failure of leadership, not a failure of the driver.
I agree.
Sorry.
I can't top that story. I'm going to just ditto everything because I have nothing of value to add beyond this.
I have a hard time believing that, but I'll take it
I'm
for now.
I'm at a moment of silence here. Enjoy your grant.
All right, John.
It is hard to follow all that, but the one thing I can think of you can add to that is if you think of like the Uber versus Lyft story, it's not just my experience with Uber that affects whether or not I take Uber. It's Uber's interactions with the rest of the world. The fact that they had this sort of potentially negative culture and all those things impacted my experience with the product, even though it didn't actually impact me, if that makes sense. So I think that whole experience thing is broader.
I mean, it's not just the whole journey through. It's actually the relationship to that person from everything else they do, even if I'm not included in it.
That's right.
Because I actually switched to Lyft from Uber because of that.
Same here.
So,
yeah.
Wow. Now, I feel like we just did a whole big communication exercise, because I remember like in college, we used to do the communication exercise where I would say something and Jason would have to listen to it, repeat what I said, and then add to it. And then Tom would have to repeat what we just did that. I think
like improv class, yes, and.
Yes, it was a improv yes and. So I'm going to start figuring out how I can make questions that are always going to be additive. So we start with a base, and then everybody can add on to it, just like the Friday question.